My question is, do you have a big problem that you can solve? If you don't, then maybe start looking for one. Because Ben Feldman was known as the greatest life insurance salesman who ever lived, at least at a point in time. He outsold like everybody in, I think, the world for like a number of years in a row and was in Guinness Book of World Records. I actually have his books up here on the shelf with the exact quote. It doesn't particularly matter right now. What he said was the way he sold insurance was he found a big problem with a big price tag for the solution, and for which the solution could be insurance. And that's how he sold so freaking much insurance in a relatively small town, relatively small area, right? How about you? Because see, like if you're out, you have two choices. One is to sell a heck of a lot of low priced products to a lot of people. I think that's much more difficult to do today. It can be done. It's more difficult and challenging to do today than it used to be. Largely because in the past, affiliates would do could do SEO on Google and so forth. And your little small affiliates, you had thousands of them that could make a nice little living or extra cash promoting affiliate products. And today, that game has all become much more sophisticated and challenging. And so you don't have the same ability to leverage through the smaller affiliates that you did back then. What you tend to have is a smaller number of really large, very sophisticated affiliates, right? And so my point is simply this. If you want to make more money, probably the easiest way to do it is to find a problem with a bigger price tag for its solution. And then here's what you do. I'll give you the steps. Number one is you find, okay, who is the ideal target for this? Who are we going to target? Number two, conduct a survey and find out what their pain points are. Number three, put together an introductory service that you can use to build trust, to build confidence, and so forth. Number four, after you put together the introductory service, then you put together a marketing system to sell the introductory service on as automated basis as possible, because there's not any money in the introductory service. That's just to get your clients. And then the next step is after they try the introductory service, you built know, like, and trust. You've delivered what you promised. Then you upsell to your big solution to their big pain point. So if you're a person that happens to be able to solve a big problem or something that is a big pain point and has a pretty substantial price tag for its solution, then I can help you put together a marketing system for that. If you would like to talk to me about that, I have a program where we identify the target audience in one-on-one consulting. We identify the target audience and the pain points, do the survey, create an idea for the and system for the introductory product or service, how it'll be sold, and then the upsell process to sell them to the bigger ticket. That's about a 5-week consulting program. My support desk is getyoursupport.com if you would have an interest in doing that. Now, for you, if you do not have a bigger ticket product or service that you sell, why not start thinking that way? Like it takes probably not much more effort to solve a bigger problem than it does a smaller problem. If you're just selling little teeny tiny problems that don't mean very much to people, number one, they're not going to respect you. They're not going to respect your time. They're like, well, yeah, I need $300 extra income. All right, great. A lot of ways you can make $300 extra income. You're probably best off on YouTube, right? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real here. If you need $300 extra income, just go over to YouTube. There's like only 1 million freaking videos on how to do it, right? You're going to have a real hard time making a very good living selling to people that only want $300 extra income, unless you play the big affiliate game. There's, you know, a relatively small number of people over on Warrior Plus that sell to that audience, and they will sell 1,000 to 2,000 products at a time. They probably only have 10 or 15, maybe 20 serious people who promote their products and sell the vast majority of them, and they do recips for those people. And, you know, the offers, in order to sell that kind of thing, the offers appeal to a broad general mass and are probably legally a little dicey, maybe a lot dicey to do that, because those mass people, they only want $300 a month, $500 a month extra, maybe a week extra, but they're not willing to do much for it. So you have to promise quite a bit, and they don't want to spend much time doing it. I think it's much simpler to say, okay, let's just get real here and be like, all right, who actually has a problem I can solve? That's actually a painful problem, and they're willing to pay to solve it, right? It's like, if you're just you could deal with the people that just have a little bit of a problem. Oh yeah, I'd kind of like some extra cash. It ain't like they're not willing to spend very much money because it's just not that important to them. Let's get real, right? It's just not all that important to them, right? Because if it was, they would have already solved it. They would have gone over to YouTube. They would have watched some videos. They would have already freaking solved it. It ain't that important to them. The info is free over on Udemy, and it's like $10 on it's free on YouTube, and it's like $10 on Udemy, right? Yeah, good morning to you. So what you want to be doing is probably looking for something that's a real problem, right? Like for me, one of the problems I've identified is I know a lot of people have a problem they can solve that's actually a real problem that actually has a really significant price tag to it for the person, and the person's willing to pay money to solve it, but they don't know how to do the survey, package an intro service, sell the intro service, market the intro service, and then ascend from the intro service to a bigger ticket, right? And they need somebody to help assemble that marketing system or assemble that process, right? And that's just one example. For you, you've got to know, what is my highest value what's my lowest value that I can create for the most bottom fishing freaking person in the world that barely wants to make any extra money or barely wants to get a little result here or there, and is barely willing to pay anything for it as long as it has a money back guarantee. Like, you know, that's your lowest value. What's the highest value that you can help people with, right? Like, what's the highest value thing you can possibly help people with, right? If you look at yourself, you look at your knowledge, you look at your skills, you look at your abilities, you look at what you can do. What problem can you solve? What is the biggest problem that you can solve? What's the most value you could create someone by marshaling your resources, marshaling your skills, marshaling your knowledge, marshaling your ability, and then having a marketing system in place to sell that? Doesn't that make a lot more sense than trying to sell to the person that like just is not really motivated, doesn't really want to spend it? Maybe we'll spend 20 minutes a day. I got 20 minutes a day, Marlon. I got 20 minutes a day is all I got. I got 20 minutes a day. If I can make $300 a month, that's great. Like, how much are they going to be willing to spend to make $300 a month that they don't really want to make all that much? Because again, if they did, they would have gone over to YouTube or gone and bought something that's a real thing over on Udemy, right? They just would have. So who can you help? Now, once you've defined how you can help them, and you create introductory service, and you got to market it. That's why I'm doing my 4 traffic methods. The only 4 traffic methods you will ever need. It's let me get the URL here for you. I'm doing it this Friday night. But let me see if I can find the URL here for you. I don't know. I should know it off the top of my head, right? But let's see. And I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up here. Let me find the page, and then I'll tell you why I'm bringing it up. You know, you would think I would have named it something that I could freaking remember, right? Heck no. All right, let's see here what we got. It's 4 traffic sources. All right. Boom. Should be it right here. So it's not bad. Resellertoolkit.com/, the number 4 traffic sources, right? Once you know what problem you can solve, that's really a real problem, something that really people really have a pain point with, something they're actually willing to pay money to solve. They're like, yeah, this is a real pain point. I will pay money to solve this because it hurts or because I really, really, really need this result, right? And there's something at stake, you know, more than just earning enough money in a month to buy an extra steak, right? Then you need traffic. Now, how do you get the traffic? Well, there's only 4 traffic sources you'll really ever need. Friday night, I'll tell you what they are, how to use them, where to use them. As an example, on Warrior Plus alone, since January 1, I've gotten 8,690 visits. In the past 7 days, 1,875, 64,196 in the past year. That's only on Warrior Plus, not my websites and blog and everything else, right? My blog has 58,741 visits in the past year. And there's more stats in here, right? Like you can look at them. Here's like my blog visitors, right? So we're covering the 4 traffic sources this Friday night. And these are how that once you know what you can sell, where you can actually get paid decently for it or really freaking well, because you're solving a problem with a bigger price tag for its solution, then you can go out and you can implement one or more of the 4 big traffic sources. There are only 4 traffic sources, honest to God, you'll ever need, right? And it makes it pretty simple. You're like, okay, I can do this, 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 or this. And that's really all I got to think about. I don't need all this other crap or stuff. This is really all you need. The bigger thing is to know, what are you selling that has a big price tag for its solution, right? Or big enough, like, because there's a balance. I mean, you can sell medium tickets and get a medium amount of traffic. You don't have to sell a big ticket. You can sell a medium problem with a medium price tag for its solution and sell medium-sized tickets. You can do that. The hard thing today is small tickets, unless you want to play the affiliate game. And it's a hard circle to break into because there's a relatively small number of people. You'll know who they are because on Warrior Plus, they're in the top 10 or 20 products launches every single freaking day, right? Same thing over on JV Zoo. And those are your players. Those are the ones with all the traffic. Those are the ones that you need them to mail your list. The only thing is they've already got their circle of partners that all mail for each other. For you to break into that circle when you have no advantage or reason they should let you break into their circle, it's not the easiest deal to do in the world. So then you need to go out and recruit your own affiliates and so forth. That's definitely it's definitely one way you can do it, but it's a challenge to sell a lot of littles today. It was easier in the past. I think it's a challenge today simply because a small number of people control a heck of a lot of the traffic who are affiliates. In the past, you had tons and tons and tons and I had 30,000 small affiliates who would promote my products. You don't really have that today. You don't really have that today unless you just put up insane amount of cash for prizes and stuff, right? So you're looking at selling either mid tickets or big tickets, right? And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They're still like, well, you know, I'm just trying. I've been trying for a year now, Marlon, 2 years to put together my $10 ebook. I'm still working on it. I'm thinking about doing Amazon, but I've been working a little bit on local businesses, and I got some PLR over here. And I'm also doing this other gig thing, right? I mean, they're so spread out and they just get no result with that, right? And so a mid ticket is more to embrace. But, you know, I start people out creating small tickets. And my belief is if you can create a small ticket, you can create a mid ticket. It's really, if you can create a small ticket, you can create a mid ticket. But the ideal thing is to find a big enough problem that has a big price tag for its solution, that you can sell a bigger ticket to people with the money to pay for it, who understand the need for it, who have the desire for it, right? For me, that's simply people that know they can solve a big problem with a big price tag, but they don't have a marketing system to sell it. That's what I can help people with, right? But you have to look at yourself and say, what is the highest deployment of my skills, knowledge, and abilities? What is the thing I can do for other people, the problem I can solve, the result I can give them, that I can get paid the most for, because it's going to be a high ROI to them? That's really the burning question here. That's really the burning question for you, right? By the way, I'll show you this. I've got a couple blog posts over here up for you. I've got big ticket sales. If you can solve a problem with a big price tag for a solution, you can cash in with this method. And how to sell info products, why steady beats big burst, at marlonsnews.com. marlonsnews.com. So I got a couple blog posts for you there. And again, if you want to get in on our 4 traffic sources, it's this Friday night. You got a ton of stuff in the members area. The members area alone is worth like 5 or 10 times the asking price. This is priced way cheaper than I normally will do a live event for. The main reason for that is because I didn't have a great hook for it. I want to get the product out. I didn't have the best hook for it, and didn't really feel like doing a big hustle on the sales letter. So I did a simple sales letter for it, and it sold at really a bargain price that is pretty irresistible. So it's resellertoolkit.com/4 traffic sources. The price increases in 11 minutes and 23 seconds. So if you want it, you should probably go over there and get it before the price goes up. I do raise the price on this. It's not automated. I just do it manually. So, all right. So the theme today, and you can read about it on the blog, is how do you come up with a bigger problem with a bigger price tag for its solution, so that you're able to sell it and get more margin. Hey, thank you for joining me today. And you all have a great freaking day. And I'll see all of you tomorrow.